What the fuck is up, Six Borough podcast fans? How the fuck is everybody? Hope you guys are out there killing it right now. Let's jump through these ads that we get right into the episode. Guys, first up, we got Eric Ott at RCG Mortgage. If you're a first-time home buyer looking to refinance, shoot Eric a call, text, get in touch with him, carrier pigeon, whatever the hell you're going to do. You can reach him at 631-774-1783. He'll hook you up with a pre-qualification, answer any questions you have. Again, text, call, whatever you're doing, 631-774-1783. Guys, we're also brought to you by AS Engineering Services, full-scale architectural and engineering firm. You can reach them at 631-560-0259 or on the interconnected webs at www.asengineeringservices.com. Last but not least, we're brought to you by Municipal Land Survey, 631-345-2658. Contact them for all your land surveying needs in the great state of New York. Whatever you guys are doing, they can hook you up, buy a new house, looking to refinance your property, have your new property lines drawn up, have your taxes redone, pools, whatever you need a land survey for, these are the guys to talk to. Guys, this episode we have Andrew Stock. Andrew is a amateur MMA fighter. He is a Vita Coco rep here in on Long Island, and he is also a self-proclaimed former nerd or geek. I can't remember which adjective we used to describe it, but we all really are. We told him he was in good hands with the people at the Six Borough because we're all geeks. But doesn't matter. He's an awesome guy. We had a great time, fun conversation. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
Six Borough podcast. D-Rock.
Yarbs.
Steve.
And our guest.
Andrew Stock.
There we go.
Fucked it up.
All right. So, before we start, I want to address something. Apparently people are talking on Twitter about our volume levels and stuff like that. Apparently I'm the culprit, okay? So, I'm working on it. And if you don't like it, I'm just kidding. I'll fix it. I was going to say mean shit, but I won't.
Yeah. He's only talking this shit because Eric's not here to yell at him about it. If Eric was...
it'd be worse. I'd be talking more shit because I'm a stubborn asshole.
You two feed off each other.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, we do.
Like a fucking marriage.
Well,
although it's not quite as bad as little Eric and fucking Eric.
Oh, my God.
The two of them wind each other up out of control.
Worst pairing in history.
Enough that we had to throw away an entire episode of a podcast.
Yeah, that's an unreleased podcast.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the archives.
Oh, fuck, I don't think we could release this. It's too much.
It's bad.
It's too much.
That's saying something.
Yeah. For us to not release something.
Yeah. That's saying
bad.
something.
His podcast goals.
Yeah.
Andrew's
like, shit.
We should have a
all right,
contest
I'm
like
stepping up my
that
game.
Wu-Tang album. You can get
come
that
back
for
for a second
like
or
$1
third
million
time,
if
I'll
you
really
donate
take it off the
X.
All right, so Andrew, thanks for coming, bro. For those of you that don't know, Andrew is an up-and-coming amateur MMA fighter. We train alongside one another at Long Island MMA. How old are you?
24, turned 25 in May. So
You're a young gun. Young guy. What are you, 5-0?
5-0 with one more
5-0.
contest.
Okay. He is the lightweight champion for the New York Fight Exchange. And you have a wrestling background, right?
Yeah, I started wrestling in 7th grade. One of my friends said, "Oh, you should give it a shot." I had no idea what it was. First day, I called my dad right after, told him I think I'm going to quit and go back to baseball. It seemed exactly what he would want to hear. And he told me, hey, just give it another shot. And then I kind of fell in love with it and wound up wrestling throughout high school. Wrestled at Johnson & Wales up in Rhode Island. And one thing led to another. Wound up finding my way back into a cage.
Keep that fucking thing.
Oh, fuck it. All right.
Just address the levels issue. There you go.
Exactly. Deep throat it.
So, yeah.
So how long did it take before you got to wrestle Harambe?
Me and Harambe go way back to a couple days after his death.
Yo, so I knew who you were. We never officially met. Obviously, you fight in the local scene.
Fight
Everybody knows.
community is pretty close.
Everybody knows who everybody is or whatever. So I knew who you were. I don't think I'd ever actually met you. I'm pretty sure, I'd seen your Instagram a bunch. I'd seen you post, Harambe shit and this and that. And then when we finally started training together, we met each other, I realized how real his Harambe obsession really was. You got like stickers on your water bottle. He's wearing a Harambe shirt right now. He just brought me one of his shirts that he had made for his fight. It's got Harambe on the front. It's like
fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
It is amazing.
Let's address this.
I guess we'll dive right into it. So obviously, when the whole incident happened, everybody kind of had their mini uproar. I was like, yeah, it's kind of fucked. Not gonna lie, but once I realized, like a month and a half later, it was really getting under people's skin that someone was still talking about it or anybody. So me being the provocateur that I like to be, I just kind of dove headfirst into it and embraced it. And so I just kind of dove right in, started posting, got some good ideas, my own inspirations, some that I stole from others. The shirt that I have right now says "Revenge of Harambe, you drew first blood." So this is actually the shirt that I wore when I won the ISK New York State title. So it's kind of
it's special.
near and dear to my heart. But that I'm with Harambe photo you have up there is amazing. Yeah, the other one says take a shot for Harambe. He took a shot for you.
Oh, the Harambe. That's the I'm with Harambe is like the Hillary Clinton thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So, I don't know. I kind of just embraced the fact that it irked some people, and so I kind of just kept rolling with it. And from here on out, people have kind of associated me with him here on out too. So,
take a shot for Harambe.
Yeah, it irks people sometimes, and so you gotta just go after it.
Keep pushing the buttons.
Oh yeah, why not? It's nothing too crazy. It's not like I was the one that put the bullets into him. If I ever meet that kid, he's in trouble. But that's in the story.
Maybe he'll grow up to be an MMA fighter and he'll get a shot.
It was entirely the parents' fault in that whole scenario.
100%.
A kid's gonna want to explore. They're seeing a new environment. They don't know what's going on, and people are gonna argue over whether the gorilla was trying to protect him or gonna hurt him. At the end of the day, the only way we would have found out is if we would have let it keep going.
Yeah,
so
which. I mean,
the refs got involved.
Yeah,
you still can't do. Like,
premature
you still keep
stoppage.
People,
yeah.
Like, I feel bad and everything, but you got to protect the kid. You can't blame the kid.
I'm big on Darwinism. I mean, if it was meant to happen, it was meant to happen. But
Well,
nah.
see, the Darwinism I would have said is the parents should have been fucking killed.
Shot.
Yeah.
Shoot
Like,
the parents.
hey.
But that would have been prior to the whole thing ever happening,
That's
so they
true.
wouldn't have been able.
There
to...
would have been no kids. See,
Killing the parents would be eugenics.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah,
true.
no, I'm definitely not for killing with the prediction of what could possibly happen. That's kind of not in the things. But if we could stop the gene pool a little bit, it'd be probably pretty helpful.
We need to weed out some.
Yeah, we really do.
We need another plague.
There's a lot of people that don't need to be here.
Yeah.
We need another plague.
Like-
With my luck, I'm going to be the first one to die from it. But fuck it.
I just think that anytime there's some type of event, I'm like, all right, that's 5 minutes off my commute.
Yeah.
It's just lanes
Or-
opening up on the highway, less traffic.
Perfect example is people getting all up in arms about these the Tide Pods and now the condom fucking challenge. I get so
I actually
excited.
have that sweatshirt. Sorry, Harambe loved Christmas right up there.
Of course you do.
I've worn that. Yeah, that's got me through many a weight cut. So.
That's fucking fantastic.
But yeah, I don't know. Today, especially too, it's just there's selective outrage with everything. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but now with everything on social media, it's really easy for someone to just dive in, show that they're outraged, feel really good about themselves, and then wait for the next thing that's going to happen. Where you would probably see 10, 15, almost 20 years ago, things would be in the headlines for a lot longer. They're going on to it now. It's such a short.
The news cycle, they said the news cycle is almost 6 minutes at this point.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the craziest thing, not craziest, but one of is when there was that fake missile threat in Hawaii. People are diving into drains, all this crazy stuff's happening. If that would have happened 15, 20 years ago, that would have been nuts. People would have been going after the person that's responsible for this. They would have held a lot of people accountable. And later that day, they were just concerned over, I think that was right around the same time Trump, it was in the middle of when Trump said his shithole comment, which, whatever your thoughts on that is another thing. But then you start thinking about how an entire state had a missile warning that would have essentially meant that we were going to have 49 states. That just kind of fell to the wayside. So you'll see a lot of selective outrage and a lot of that sort of stuff.
Sorry, we got the Google images up. Go down one, Steve. Bush did Harambe.
Oh, yeah. There's one that said Clinton did it, Bush did Harambe. It's embrace it. It's kind of ties into, I have a very deep and meaningful life philosophy that I can boil down into 2 words, which is fuck it.
That's
whatever's
well thought out.
Yeah, one way or another.
Oh my
God. What do you think would happen to this gorilla?
It's a white gorilla.
Saying, what do you think would have happened? But at the end of the day, I kind of look at whatever's going to happen at the end of this life. Someone's going to be looking over my body in a box, and I at least want them to say he lived his life. And while I'm living it, I want to say, screw it, I'm going to have some fun and, try to give back, try to do the right thing, but enjoy the ride while you're on it.
Hell yeah, man.
So, any more words of me? Fuck it.
I support that.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%.
So, wrestled, and you wrestled all 4 years in college, right?
Correct. It's kind of a funny story. My senior year of high
Fucking
school.
better be.
My senior year of high school, I was cutting a ton of weight. I was the same height I am, a little bit skinnier, but I was making 135. Completely sucked out, hated it. I was like, you know what, I'm done wrestling. I told my high school coach, if any college coach happens to ask for my number, just tell him I'm not interested in wrestling in college. I met one of my friends, going into my senior year. His name is Jerry. He went up to JWU. He was at Rocky Point. He went to go back to school. I asked one of the coaches, I'm like, oh, where's he go? And they go, some Johnson in Wales or something. I said, I never heard of it. I'll never fucking go there. Lo and behold, towards the end of my senior season, I get a phone call from Lonnie Morris, the head coach, asking me to come check the school out. I was like, all right, I'll see him. I'm planning on going to Brockport, not wrestling, just kind of going through my emotions there. And then I went up to JWU, realized I loved it. I got a chance to wrestle with a program that I felt I had an impact on, and rolled out there. Did 4 years, and then stayed while I was finishing up my master's degree. Kind of helped out coaching for another year there, and moved back here so I could get back into getting punched in the face.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hopefully I have 2 answers.
One, Johnson and Wales, so can you cook or what, motherfucker? It's a culinary school. In case
Yeah, it's not just a cooking
It's
school.
not.
We actually had that on the back of our shirts
That's
my
all it
freshman
is.
year and
That's
a
all
couple
everybody
years
knows
before.
it for.
It was founded as a business school, believe it or not. So that was what I wanted to go for. Originally, it was accounting. I finished accounting one my senior year of high school. Well, I did it my senior year of high school, and then when I went on my orientation, the first thing I said when I sat down with someone was, how do I switch my major? And so I was hammered down between either marketing or management. I sat there for like 2 minutes with the paper in front of me, and I said, you know what, I'll get a degree in being someone's boss, and signed up for management.
That's smart.
And then I just had a year's worth of college credits when I graduated high school because I was a bit of a nerd. And
I can see that.
yeah, oh yeah. But it paid off dividends, saved me a nice little chunk of change. And so I wound up enrolling in grad school because I still had a year left of eligibility. I wanted to get a chance to wrestle, so did grad school. When I wrapped it up, I did that. And yeah, so business degrees. I can make a mean bowl of cereal.
I can tell people how to do things.
Milk or cereal
Exactly.
first?
Is that even a question? You gotta start with the cereal.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Because
What are you, a fucking
listen,
sociopath?
there's some sociopaths out there who do it reverse.
Yeah, those are the same fucking people that put one sock, one shoe on, and then one sock and one shoe on.
What?
There's also the same kind of people.
Yeah,
who
Nobody does that.
No, there are.
There's people out there.
There
There's
are
also
fucking
people
psychopaths that do that.
who don't put peanut butter on both pieces of bread.
Listen, we've had this argument before.
I don't give a
Like,
fuck.
That. All right, we're going real confrontational topics here.
Dude,
Everything's a confrontation
you don't
I love
put
it.
peanut butter on both pieces of bread?
I usually wind up doing it because I
All
have a
right,
little bit
all right,
extra.
good,
But
'cause
I
Right, you smear
It's
it
when I have the extra there.
only
You know,
for the excess.
I cover
No.
the one side and then
get it done
I'll
every
do a
time.
little bit and then
Exactly. You clean
And then
it
you
off so you
clean
don't
it-
put the
cut
the
his
Yeah,
fucking
you
butter
put the jelly.
into the jelly.
It's exactly right. All right.
Cut these mics.
That's
We're
exactly
out.
right.
Let's wrap this
Yeah,
bitch
no,
up.
we're cutting one mic.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Were you talking?
What was that?
Yeah, keep fucking up the levels. Everyone keeps complaining.
You were fucking them
Now
up
it's your
yourself.
fault. Now it's
you
your
fucking them
fault.
up yourself.
Twitter. It's Chris Yarbrough's fucking up the levels, not me. All because he's a fucking communist and doesn't put peanut butter in both loaves of bread.
Yo,
I don't know, man.
first of all, the slices. If you make it a whole
whatever.
fucking loaf,
Yeah, a whole loaf. That's how I roll.
Fucking
Hold on. Think about this. That's the real sick shit. Making like peanut butter and jelly on like hero bread. Like
It's like a 6-footer?
like Italian bread.
we should order that at the deli.
A loaf of Italian bread.
6 foot fucking peanut butter and
Coming
jelly
to you
hero.
live from Off the Rails podcast.
it's pretty much how it goes all the time.
It's awesome though. But so
But,
yeah,
did
question
you-
number 2.
Did you only wrestle? Did you have any exposure to MMA while you were wrestling, or were you just
Yeah,
wrestling?
so it's kind of a little story right before I get into it. When I was 15 years old, the one fight that really made me want to watch this was Diego Sanchez versus Clay Guida. I
amazing fight.
kind of enjoyed watching the fights from there, here and there. But I remember I was sitting in my living room. I saw that fight. Not necessarily the most technical, but these two guys just went
Wild,
the hell
man.
at it.
Yeah, they went
And
after it.
both of them displayed hard. It didn't matter how tired, what they got hit with, how drained they were. I sat down. I said, I wanted to get into this. I want to do it. So naturally, I asked my mom, and she says no. I'm like,
Of course.
so, that was 15 or 16 years old, actually. Going into my senior year of high school, between my junior and senior year, my mom and my brother went down on a quick vacation to Florida. So when they weren't there, I told my dad, hey, Dad, I'm going to go sign up for him. He's like, oh, whatever, it's your money.
Yeah, sure.
And, yeah, so I started in 2010. Oh, man, watching this fight. A little quick highlight of it.
Sanchez Guida is probably one of the best fights ever.
Yeah,
in
well,
the
when they
UFC.
did the countdown the original one, right before UFC 100, this was listed as the most influential fight in UFC history. You know, as Joe Rogan said, people were calling their friends up, and as the fight was going on, the viewership was going up. People were basically saying to their friends, "Yo, turn on this channel. People are beating the shit out of each other."
Incredible. Well, the same thing with Bonner and
I was going to say
Hunter
that's
Griffin. maybe that was the one I was
Bonner
actually
Griffin's the
thinking
one you're
of.
thinking
Yeah.
of. But this one,
Close enough, but this was,
absolutely.
same season, and this was pretty close
was up there,
That was
yeah.
number, all right, yeah. This was probably
No, this
number,
was 4 years later.
This is
5.
many years later.
Yeah, this is
But
2009.
what blew me away out of this
It still
is
broke the,
Guida was still jumping around.
Correct.
At the end. How is that possible? This guy's gas tank is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's still
so
even-
this was
even
actually,
his
I think,
last fight.
this made the top 5, I think. I mixed up those two with
Yeah.
Bonner and Griffin, but close enough. But these guys, the fact that they stood up there and, just threw
Unbelievable.
the head kick that Diego Sanchez landed, too, that kept, it just shows, and both of these guys are still warriors. They're still at it now. This is this is the fight that got me interested in it 8 years ago. Not necessarily interested, but that made me want to dive headfirst into it. And these guys are both still fighting now. Diego's going to have another fight at 170 soon. And Clay
a couple
Guida.
months ago, and it was a
Yeah.
good fight.
Clay
He
is
looked
down at
fucking
45. This is
I guess USADA doesn't test for meth, huh?
Yo,
ecstasy is only banned. Actually, I don't know what the levels are, so they probably have that rolling.
cocaine does lines of Guida. It's ridiculous.
No, he looks like a caveman. Like
He
a
does.
straight up fucking caveman. He's the missing link.
He's the missing link. That's exactly right. He never stops coming forward. At any point, you're smashing me in the face, I'm coming forward.
Cool, we're gonna
you're
keep
kicking
going.
me in the face, I'm coming forward. At no point does he ever take a step backwards. It's amazing.
So yeah, this is a fight that I saw, and I saw the heart and true spirit of being a warrior. And growing up, I wasn't necessarily a real tough kid. I was kind of raised to be a bit of a pansy. And so once I got involved in wrestling, it forced me to kind of dig deep and to see exactly what was going on. And this sport kind of got me into it. So I was training with Anthony and Joey Spataro at a small gym. I trained there, in the summers, and took a break when I was obviously in wrestling season. And so right after I finished up my senior season, before I came back to rep on my master's, I had my first fight. So that was 2015, my first amateur fight. Finished up grad school and then jumped right back in. A month after graduating, I had another fight.
Nice. So what was the gym that you first started training at?
Oh, it was a small gym outside in Shirley called Dante Rue. I don't think it's actually open anymore, but that's where I kind of ran to Anthony and Joey Spataro, and they kind of guided me ever since. Kind of bounced around a few places with them, and now we're settled in at Long Island MMA, but these guys have kind of taught me a ton from when I started and helped manage me. They look out for nothing but my best interests, so I'm definitely lucky to have them in my corner, and it was kind of just chance that this was the gym that was close to my house, and this was the gym that they happened to be, deciding to come back to coach at, and everything kind of fell together ever since.
That's another pair of guys. They're the twins. I had known who they were for quite some time. I never actually met them. And now, being at Long Island MMA, finally get to meet them. They're good dudes. They're brown belts, right?
Correct. They're both 2-stripe brown belts.
Yeah, good dudes. They're both pretty damn good on the mats.
They know their damn stuff, and that's what's crazy. They're not, and they were never traditionalists in the sense that you had to just do whatever. They're like, hey, if you want to cross train somewhere, you want to learn this, you want to pick this up, you want to challenge yourself. The fact that they just want you to get better as an athlete is something that is pretty rare. Not within the Long Island MMA community. I think that's our goal in general.
Long Island MMA has that. They attract people like that.
But a lot of places don't have that same sort of atmosphere when it comes to fighting. It's just here, so it's good that
if you look at pro class at Long Island MMA, and I don't mean just for the uninitiated. If you're listening, Long Island MMA is actually a school too, not just the region we're talking about. But when I say this, I mean the school Long Island MMA. They get it. They have a very good policy. If you go to pro class in the morning, there's guys from all over the place that are there, and even regular class tonight. It seems to me that this might not be their true manifesto, but it appears their whole thing is if you are good, you add value to the school. They want you there, so they're not gonna bang you for fees and stuff. You're there, you're good, you're gonna make our guys better. Come, and that's the reason why they're super successful, and that's the reason why there's always talent in the room. I heard I can't remember who it was, but somebody said something about Long Island MMA's pro class. It's one of the best rooms in the country.
Oh yeah, that was on. It was on maybe I think it was on TV. It was on either Bellator or maybe UFC, one of the
Something
recent
like
fight
that,
nights. It was definitely one of the recent fight nights. It might have been Paul Felder. Might have said it.
Yeah, he might have said it.
It might have been him. Somebody said it, and he was they were talking about somebody that trains there all the time. One of the pros in the UFC, and and he was going down the list of some of the guys that are there.
It was Theodorou. It was
Elias Theodorou?
Yeah,
Yes.
because he was fighting. They mentioned that he'd been spending time at Long Island MMA and cross training, and they mentioned it's like a hidden little gem. But it's some days it's one of the best rooms in the country because you could go there on any Tuesday or Thursday morning, and you have all the staples from Long Island MMA themselves. Ryan the Flair, Dennis Bermudez, Chris Wade, Lauro, Jared Gordon. There's too many to even list, but you just go down the list, and then you might have. I've been there on days when they got all the guys from Tiger Showman's. You got Julio Arce, Jimmy Rivera, Shane Burgos, and then you got guys from the Black Zillions there because Ryan used to cross-train the Black Zillions. It's just like at any given day there could be a ton of talent in that room. It's just one of the top-level rooms in the country. It rivals, Albuquerque, like in Jackson's and things like that. It's
a high-level coaching with high-level athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been able to get down to the pro classes yet. That's going to be happening within a couple months with work and everything. But
it's a great class.
There's a ton of talent in the room, and the thing is, a lot of these guys don't want to give back. Like the fact that even if you're not, a pro, you're an amateur or whatever, you're still learning from Ryan LaFleur, Chris Wade, Greg DePasquale. All these high-level coaches are there teaching you from the ground up. So.
I have to say, one of the most impressive things too about Depot. I always knew Depot was a good coach, but I realized how good he was and how impressive it was when, I've cross-trained at Long Island MMA for a long time. Only in the last 6 months have I been there full-time. And when I made my transition there full-time, when I was going to pro class, every single class, Greg would pull me aside and show me something. Every class. Now, I'm in a room full of studs. Like, I didn't even expect to be looked at. You know what I'm saying? Just the body in the room. I don't have anything coming up, and you got all these top-level guys. Greg would go through to everybody who he saw that it's like, hey, work on this. I saw this for you. Be good for you. He did it to everybody, including myself. He doesn't miss a fucking thing. It's like real impressive. In a room with that much talent to still be getting some specialized attention is, it's the guy's good, man. You don't miss a fucking thing.
He's the fucking man. Love it.
So, you just had you went out of your comfort zone here because so Andrew was getting ready for a fight, an MMA fight, and the card got canceled. The whole thing.
Yeah. So
Really?
it was kind of crazy. Supposed to have a fight March 9th, and I got a phone call from Anthony and Joey, my managers per se. They were telling me how the whole event got canceled. We didn't really have much info going forward, and then after a little while, got some info. I guess my opponent pulled out, and there was like a whole bunch of other things going on, and so the whole event got canceled. And when they called me that day, I said, "Just get me a fight. I don't care. Just get me in the cage or a ring or something." Because last time I fought before that was September, and I didn't want to be stuck on the sidelines at all. I wanted to get a chance to go in there. So, as you said, I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone and took a kickboxing fight. It was a fun time. Decision didn't go my way. It was really a close fight. I fought the guy in MMA, won that, but it was a good challenge. I was glad that someone was willing to step up. It was 10 days out from the fight originally when it got canceled, my MMA one, rather. So within a couple of days, we lined up something for kickboxing against Dom Call. He's a great guy, good fighter, and got to have some fun, got to test myself, see the kind of progress I made since I joined Long Island MMA with my striking overall under the H kickboxing system.
Wasn't fun for me because I sparred with Angela a bunch as a righty, and I'm a lefty, so I really didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, it was a good time, though. I kind of banged myself up a little bit with a foot injury, but back in, out on the mats now. It was a good time, though. It's kind of fun just getting a chance to, win or lose, get to sit back and say, I got to punch, kick, knee somebody, and I'm not leaving in cuffs. I don't have bail I got to get posted. People were cheering for me. This is a pretty good time. So I took the most out of it. I hate losing. I went back to the locker room, kind of swearing at myself because I immediately knew where I kind of happened to go off the rails with it. There was a couple small mistakes that if I would have kind of kept myself a little more accountable in there, set up a rear leg kick more instead of throwing as many switch kicks.
Do you think you just got caught up like in the momentum of it, where you were just you lost the game plan and you were just fighting, or
I was first round I was really good. I ate a vicious shot to my third leg, and it was kind of had me sidelined for about 2 minutes.
It's a small leg.
Yeah. Get your hand away from it now, then. But yeah, it kind of like took me took the adrenaline that I had out, put me right into an adrenaline dump. But I think as the second round going on, I was kind of focused on trying to be like a little technical and just throw. I didn't, biggest difference kind of transitioning from MMA striking to kickboxing or all these things is like the output has to be higher when you're in there. A kickboxing fight. It's not as you're not really as concerned about getting taken down, other stuff. And so the first round, I think I did a pretty good job with my output going forward. Second round, my foot kind of came off the gas pedal. I wholeheartedly know I lost that round because of it. The third round, I was landing more strikes than him. I was a lot more accurate, but the last 10, 15 seconds. There was the last break. I thought there was a groin shot that wasn't called, but, whatever. And he started throwing a little bit more output, kind of kept going. And that was enough in the judge's eyes to take the decision. It's on me. I'm not going to say, it was a close fight regardless. I'm not going to put the blame on anybody else other than myself because at the end of the day, that's what you have to do to get better. You got to look at what you did wrong. And it was just a chance to do something before I get back into the cage. So,
right. Well, I mean, especially a kickboxing fight with like headgear on and stuff like that.
Luckily, there was no headgear, but still with shin guards.
Yeah,
no headgear, but still shins and other stuff that I'm not used to because I've only wore shins once in MMA.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like it's very subjective with kickboxing. It's a lot to look at. If it's close, it's like what do you put emphasis and value on? So like losing a decision, it's kind of like. Unless it's like a clear ass whooping, I always feel like kickboxing fights like that, or it could have went either way.
Yeah,
it's hard to really discern the differences with those things. So like you said, it is what it is. You just went out there and got the experience, and you stepped out of your comfort zone. It's good. It's good to do that, man.
Some old stuff there.
What do we got here?
Oh, that was like
Sorry,
my
guys, I'm
first
just pulling
ever.
up some stuff from YouTube.
Yeah, that was like my first ever fight. Right now that he's pulling up, that was fun. Back with.
Oh, you were at Evolution?
Evolution.
Yeah, we were at Evolution at that time. Evolution and Team Believe.
Doug.
Doug's
a good dude.
Doug, great. He got me. He was one that got me really started when it came down to the striking system as a whole. And where
was this fight at?
This was at Jackhammer Promotions in.
Oh, Bobby Campbell.
Yeah.
Okay. Was this the Sons of Italy or whatever?
Yeah, Sons of Italy. That was the name of the venue I was trying to look for. There's a couple of my friends' family. This one was fun. It was kind of just something in between my junior and my senior year and last year at grad school. We were like, hey, we can get you a fight before you go back. It's a couple of weeks before you go back to school. Let's do it. And I was like, hell yeah. I've been at that point in time. I was training for just under 5 years. Still wrestling, and so I was like, I want to get a chance to go do it. This is gonna be fun, and that's exactly what it was. I was a debuting fighter. The guy I think had between 1 and 3 fights. It was up at 170, which was interesting, and then, I wound up winning. You'll see, first round, pretty much domination, but I had
Who's
Mount.
the opponent?
His name is Pat Fallon. I had Mount, and then he gave up his back, and from there I was able to sink in a rear naked choke, wrap it up in just under 2 minutes, actually. So
show off.
It was fun. Actually, all my
that was on his jaw too.
Yeah, that definitely had to hurt.
Yeah,
but
it does feel good.
Yeah, all my fights were actually first round finishes minus my last one, but it's all fun there. As you can see, it was a boil and bite mouthpiece, so that's how bad it was then. But a couple of them, or I think 2 of them are actually somewhere on my Instagram too. But that's it's going back. It's just a lot of fun. It was something that I realized I was passionate about once I got a chance to fight. Once I got to train and get into it, I'm like, this is really enjoyable. It's pushing me. It's something that I can do. You kind of know when you're a wrestler, you have limited shelf life that you're going to be able to go on the mat. As much as I would have loved to, I definitely wasn't going to be a contender on the Olympic scale of things for wrestling. But I wanted to be able to take what I had with wrestling, learn and grow, improve on it. Past
it's the best
that.
base. I mean, there's nothing better for MMA than wrestling. It's just so transferable. Everything about it, the way you train, the grappling, everything is transferable.
Yeah, wrestling is amazing. I mean, the only bad thing that came over from wrestling into MMA is the weight cutting, but that's a whole other topic of discussion there. I think it's important that.
What are we looking at here?
This was like a little highlight video that MMA Bug put together right before an event that happened a couple of years ago. It was, me and a fighter from another gym. They did a little thing. It was high quality. But, those guys, they were putting together a thing. Me and Mike Honcho showed up. It was a good little promo thing, and yeah.
So what's you got anything coming up or?
Yeah, so we kind of planned on doing some stuff. I have a couple things coming up mid-May, personally, so I couldn't take any fights till summertime, but we're finalizing everything to fight on the Triton fights in July 13th at the Space at Westbury. So
Right on.
Nice.
yeah,
Well,
that'll be fun. I tell everybody, not by everybody, I mean managers, just give me a name, date, and a weight, and I'm there. So we got, we're working on the name, but we got the date and the weight pretty much ironed out. So
go get that W, and you'll be the second time with me and a microphone.
yes, that's the game plan. I'll have to come up with some good things to say. I'll be sure to, thank you as you're standing next to me. Give a shout out to somebody named, it's the game plan at least. But
Is this you here? Wrestling?
Yeah, what you're pulling up, that was
Canada Cup,
yeah.
14.
In 2014, I went up to wrestle in a tournament called the Canada Cup with a team from Springfield, Mass. The coach's name was Aniba Nieves. He's a two-time Olympian for Puerto Rico. So he's the head coach at Springfield Technical Community College. I also wrestled at a couple trips with him, so he sent out an invitation to a few guys from other colleges. Sorry, I'm getting distracted watching the match.
Sorry.
And then, we got a chance to go. This one, I think this one I wound up losing, but there's another match up there.
I put a full screen in. No, I'm just
No, it was a fun time. It's not
Give
too often
everyone
you
the
get
link.
it's not a good chance that you get to, or not every, it's a good chance. It's not every day that you get an opportunity to compete against people from other countries, so I wound up getting an opportunity to wrestle. Maybe I did win this one. I don't even remember anymore.
Hey, just fucking with me.
Yeah, now
Yeah, it looks like.
I'm moving the provocateur thing. No, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I must say.
This guy, he
I
was
was gonna say,
talented.
you
Looks
look
pretty
pretty
definitive. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
that's it,
yeah,
right there.
then when I secure the fall, but sorry, falling off the rails, losing my mind to too much.
Well,
caffeine
he's
on the guy.
Canadian though, so that doesn't.
No,
really
I mean the
count.
guy. It does. Canada has a great
Come
wrestling.
on, come on.
No, Canada has a really good wrestling program because they focus on the Olympic styles. That guy actually wound up taking, I think, 5th in Canada in the Canadian Nationals
okay.
that year.
Oh, shit.
The big difference between like U.S. and basically the rest of the world is we have our collegiate or folk style wrestling, which is different from the other two Olympic styles, which is freestyle and Greco. So whenever you get a chance to compete internationally, like when I went to Canada and then competing in Puerto Rico, even though it's in the States, they focus on the international styles. You get to focus on doing something that the rest of the world does, and excuse me,
okay.
you'll actually see.
Real classy.
Well, yeah, in that match I hit a crossface cradle, which was my number one move by far. But that's a folk style move that I brought. That not too many people bring into freestyle, and I got a chance to pick up a W with that.
That's pretty cool.
Think of my college matches, 85% of them that I won were pins, and of that, 85 to 90% were with the cradle. So,
That's your go-to.
I was gonna say, it's the signature move.
yeah, that was a move from there. But
So
pretty cool.
the other thing I want to talk to you about, you're a big floater.
oh yeah, the float place. There's a place on Long Island that has it. Sensory deprivation is probably my.
You're there like
my
once a
secret
week,
weapon.
aren't you?
Yeah, I go there weekly now. They're one of my sponsors, Hardy, Tim, and everybody else over there have been really good helping me get into it. I found out from one of my former teammates, told me to check it out. Got a chance to try it a few times. Did it before my fight in May of last year.
Same day.
Enjoyed the experience. Yeah, I did the week before, and then I did the day of the fight, and then a couple weeks before my title fight in September, I did it. We worked out a sponsorship agreement. I've been going weekly, and it's kind of really helped me control not only my body but keep my mind in check.
I was about to say that. Does that help you right before a fight to focus up? Like,
yeah,
is that-
I mean, usually
Day of, like that's
Yeah,
what I was
day
curious
of,
about.
that's
Day
big.
of.
my mind goes a million miles an hour.
Yeah,
I'm all over the place, so it's kind of good for at least that 90 minutes that I'm in there. It's quiet, it's dark. You're just allowed to let your thoughts flow and kind of move within themselves. And as Matt Brown mentioned once on a Joe Rogan podcast, it's kind of getting to the art of no mind, which you're not really trying to think about anything. You're not letting yourself race. You're just trying to let whatever thoughts going to come into your mind come in and go out. And it kind of helps me dial in and dial back out. Kind of a little bit in there, I'll think about the fight, other things. It's just good for every day. Like I mentioned, I'm not finalized on a fight yet, although I'm aiming for July 13th. Still, the opportunity to float just kind of helps me deal with everything. It was kind of funny. I was laughing as I was leaving my float. I actually went yesterday. Someone cuts me off, starts honking their horn at me, yelling. I'm just like, normally I would probably be like through the roof, but I'm actually pretty relaxed right now. I just
super
smiled and waved to him, and it got him even more angry. And I was like, you know what? Have a good one, sir.
Have a nice day.
But,
Here's a place you should check
No,
out.
floating is awesome because it, the sensory deprivation really kind of allows you to, your body just dials out. You're able to kind of relax your mind, and the fact that you're in, a tub that has about a ton of Epsom salt in it, closer to literally than figuratively, is great for aching, whether however you're aching, and so it's something that I think is really going to grow.
Stuff,
And the whole thing about getting punched in the face and kicked and having every limb ripped from you, it's a good way to relax. It's also good when you're, just dealing with everyday life.
So now I've done it. I think I've done like 6 or 7 floats total. I enjoy it, but I'm not doing it as consistently. Do you find that the benefits increase with consistency?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing every time you do it. The first time it takes you a little while to adjust to it. I kind of feel like
it took me into my second session.
Yeah,
to really
I was
adjust.
going to say, when you start your second session, this is at least what I've seen in a few people that I've taken, like my dad and other people. You'll kind of pick up on your second session where your first one leaves off, and then you really get like super relaxed and into it. I feel like it's compounded going regularly. They have a membership option, which is great. If you went like once monthly, then you get a discount on another float if you're going to do it. Going a couple times a month or something like that. I've noticed that, since I've been doing it regularly, I've had a lot more relaxation. I was like starting to get like super stressed, around last summer, and my overall, at least personally, feeling stress levels have kind of mellowed out, and I've handled stuff a lot better. It's helped me kind of put a lot of things into perspective and just, embrace that whole fuck it philosophy that I said earlier.
Do you think if you went like, say, I don't know, 5 or 6 times a week for a month, it would fix Steve's legs?
Oh, wow.
Go on.
You have him intrigued.
Man, this is going...
I'm listening.
No, we got to get some of them stem cells and.
those mesenchymal stem cells. That would be... that'd be awesome.
I guess.
I'd love to get those on a drip.
Just doing a little jiu-jitsu is waking up parts that were presently not functioning.
He's talking about his penis.
That was functioning. It's still a little part, but it's functioning.
I forgot. I've known Steve for about 10 years now. We used to work together, and I've been bitching at him for the better part of those 10 years to do jiu-jitsu, and he finally just started. So I'm happy, man. I'm glad. Like, so you'll co-sign on this. I've been telling him forever, like, dude, no one's gonna care. People are gonna have more respect for you. Like, having the condition that you're, his legs don't fully function. Obviously, he walks with a cane. But people are going to respect you more for not giving a shit.
So
he was worried about.
My initial concern was people are going there to fucking train, right? Mm-hmm. So that's great, and I'm just going there. I'm not going to fucking compete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just going there for like my own benefit, pretty much. But my concern was I'm clearly not, at 100% here. And if you're going to train with me, I'm fucking you up, even if it's only 5 minutes out of your day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be an anchor on somebody else's. Yeah, I didn't want to be an anchor on somebody else's training time when I'm coming in and just trying to like be the old fat fucking cripple dude, which I still am, no matter what, really, I guess. But like that's, you know what I'm saying? And that was my concern. And Dave's like, no, nobody's gonna think that. But then at the same time, I also didn't want to be the fucking pet that everybody taps on the head and goes, good job, retard. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like,
well,
we do that anyway.
The one thing that I think about the jiu-jitsu community and actually training is that people are doing it to better themselves and better those around them. The people that are truly doing it. So whether you're still training to compete at a high level, you're just looking to work. Every time I'm training with people that are better than me, people that are higher or lower on the skill thing. And if someone's like truly about what jiu-jitsu embraces, then they're gonna want to help you get better, and they're gonna do it. They're not gonna treat you as like a pet. But it's human nature because you never want to feel like a burden on someone. And then I especially feel
been a burden of the state for how long, Steve?
That's
one more person.
I fucking thrive on being a burden. I just don't want to waste someone else's time with training. That's really it.
Yeah.
So like, look. Anyway, so yeah, I went, and the first day I felt like a fucking moron, but whatever. I got.
So how
through
long's it been now?
About a month.
And what do you think? What are you feeling?
I'm trying to pull out 4 days this week.
That's awesome.
That's the way to do it.
My hip. So not anyone gives a fuck, but like I have like parts of me that just straight up don't work. Like it's a spinal injury, right? So,
spinal.
Spinal.
I broke my back. What part of your back was it? A vertebrae? Spinal.
So. Yeah, anyway, the shit wakes up, and its first fucking, when a nerve reconnects, its first message is, it's like, you can't even do anything. But now, like, I'm over that, It still hurts,
Yeah.
but it's not like just pain.
It's not,
you know,
yeah.
it's like actually moving a little now. So like
That's
whatever,
awesome.
it's kind of cool. So like shit that hasn't worked in 15, 16 years is now starting to work again, and like I'm starting to like get in a, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
awesome.
look, the first day I was like didn't puke, kept up, not dead, Victor.
That's a
Like,
W
that
in my
was
book.
it. Yeah, exactly. I was
100%.
so fucking happy.
Now, don't you wish you would have
that's still
listened to
my
me
goal.
10 years ago?
But like just yesterday, right? Today? Yeah, yesterday. I was training yesterday. Guy, this younger kid, wrestling background, rolls me over pretty hard, slams me down, pops my hip back into place, which was fucking amazing. And then I landed on his leg, and it cracked all of my back. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was just like, "Oh, I'd pay like money for that, dude. Like let's do that shit again." He's
Speaking
like,
of
the
which-
fuck is wrong with you?
He texted me last night, like thanking me for all the stuff, and he's like, "All right, man, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna go bang my wife." I was like, "Give her."
Oh, Lord.
I told him I was like, "Give her a smack for me." Did you?
Honestly, she just fell asleep. So
Ah.
I just
He just finished what he had to do, and that was
Yeah, I
it.
took care of it.
Did you smack your own ass then for me?
I did, but I didn't feel it.
Oh, love the dark humor. Gotta embrace it.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good.
Jiu-jitsu is something, it really is for everybody. It doesn't matter, you know.
It really is. Everyone's been pretty cool. It's funny in the beginning. Everyone's like, "Oh, you know, being all careful and shit," and then like I'm like, "No."
Once they
Like,
realize,
let's-
once they realize you're still staying with it and you're going to be there, like, all right,
Yeah,
we can fuck with them a little bit.
Yeah.
It automatically levels everybody out. You just
Let's throw this
you're
down a
now
little bit.
you're normalized now. It brings everybody to the same level.
Right.
You're just another person, not in a bad sense, but you're another person at the gym. You're another guy there. It's no longer, you're
That's what I
not.
was trying to say. Like everything was good, and Luigi comes walking over, and he's just
Oh.
like, "You now." I'm like, fuck. And I'm trying to do something. I couldn't do shit. But right away, he was like, "Oh, what are you doing this for? You trying to like heal your body, whatever?" I'm like, I just want like to get out of the house, do something, like learn this, and like I'd like an opportunity to like fucking yoke up D-Rock one day. And he was like, "Yeah, so unless you're in a terrible accident, all you can move is your eyelids. I only have a 10% chance even then." That's what he told me. I was like, "Oh, all right, great, thanks." But no, it's fun and it's humbling.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
really what it is. It's fucking humbling. Like fucking Luigi, Jesus Christ. I couldn't do
He's a
shit.
stud.
It was like fucking it was like a little kid fighting his dad.
Yep. They just grab you. You're over here.
I swear to God, he's just like, "Yeah, no, try this. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah, try that. Ah, ha, ha." I was just like,
Well, Luigi is also a dick, so.
yeah, but it was fun. I mean, I don't mind.
You should take
Does
solace
he
in
have
the
a brother
fact.
named Mario and they're a plumber? Oh.
I
Well,
rolled
he's
with
a
Mario
plumber.
the
He's a
next day.
plumber.
He is Luigi's the plumber,
I got
and Mario's
50%
the
of
blue
it.
belt.
His real name's Anthony. He used to wear a green gi, and he is a plumber, so it just became
That's pretty fucking funny.
You should take solace in knowing that even if you had two working legs, you'd get raped the same by Luigi. Anyways.
Oh no, I'm well
Okay.
aware of that. No, I'm well aware of that.
So, the other thing I wanted to ask you is you work for Vita Coco.
Correct.
So, I was now you kind of answered my question. I was going to ask how you ended up with that, but you went and did marketing, right? So that's
Management.
Yeah, management.
well, you
was
said
What the
marketing
fuck? Yo,
as
listen
well.
to guess.
He said
motherfucker.
marketing, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Damn.
and then he said, "No, I decided to major in telling people how to do something."
Yeah.
It's all right. D-Rock never listens to me. It's just
No,
like
he doesn't listen.
it's just like every time I go to his class and ask a question. But
Oh man.
it's
He's right.
my life is a whole bunch of funny stories. I guess like, some of them are funny. Some of them I guess
I'm
I
not
just
gonna
think
lie,
they're
dude. I
funny,
haven't
but-
laughed once, so you better step your game up.
Wow.
I just did it. Perfect. You
There
win.
you go. Always find a way, man. Win at everything, one way or another.
Fuck it.
But I was cutting a ton of weight my senior year of high school, and my athletic trainer, Michelle, shout out to Michelle. She gave me a Vita Coco, the one with pineapple. She's like, "You're cutting way too much weight. Your body's gonna keep cramping up, like trying to wrestle, because you only get about an hour in between weighing in and competing in wrestling. But we all just, suck a ton of weight and get it out there." And so I had that, and I started drinking it. Drank it all throughout high school and college. It kind of helped me make sure that I was still functional by the time I got off, because just about every year I competed, except for maybe my junior year, I was pulling a lot of weight. I wrestled 149 my freshman year, 157 my sophomore year in college. My junior year I went up to 165, and then I went back down to 157 my senior season. So yeah, I got bigger and then went down, but it was for the better of the team, and I wanted a chance to potentially be a starter, which wound up happening. But I kind of drank Vita Coco throughout the whole time frame there, so that was just under 5-6 years. And as I was getting ready to wrap up school, I saw a job posting online for them. I was like, that's kind of crazy. I applied, didn't hear anything for 2 months, wound up getting a call, and everything just kind of fell into place from there. Maybe it was like a month. I'm probably exaggerating now at this point, but everything kind of fell in place. I've been with them just under 2 years now, so I get to sling
So what
punches
do you-
at
what do
night
you
and
do?
coconuts during the day. I'm the area sales manager for Suffolk County, so I'm involved in sales. I work with our distributor, kind of passing along support, trying to help open new accounts, expand our SKU spaces, line up display spaces, setting them up. Kind of anything I can possibly do to help build and promote the brand out in Suffolk County. That's what I do.
Talk about it on podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm drinking one right now. Our brand new flavor, Vita Coco Pure with pressed coconut.
He's doing
now with coconut puree.
He's doing the Vanna White hands on it.
Yeah. No, this one's actually my new favorite. I'm not saying that just because it came out, but
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never had that one before.
yeah, luckily I got some for everybody, but
Nice.
we have a coconut puree that we added in, so I guess if you were to say a complaint from people when they try coconut water is it doesn't taste like coconut, it does. It's just taken from a young coconut, and
Yeah.
coconut flavoring from everything else is taken from an
Everybody
older brown
likes
coconut.
young coconuts.
Yeah.
You like these? Anyways,
Nobody
like
wants an
these
old,
coconuts?
washed-up coconut.
well, everybody apparently does because that's what the coconut taste
That's what
is.
the taste is, yeah.
Want those young, fertile coconuts.
That's what we crack open over 1 million of a day.
There you go.
So we added a coconut.
Sign me up.
Added a coconut puree, so you get the coconut taste, coconut water benefit, and boom, it tastes fucking amazing.
And
Nice.
gets girls pregnant, too.
Never heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
I'm just-
I don't think
just
that's
spitballing.
how it works.
D-Rock does a whole lot of talking without
Yeah.
making a whole lot of sense. It's okay.
That's why I have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's exactly why.
But yeah, no, it's cool.
And that's why I control the mic.
Yeah.
You just got lucky with the
It's
seat.
fun. Yeah, now, and it's been cool since I started working with them. They expanded into, a few different flavors. They launched coconut oil,
I
coconut
was just
milk,
about to say, I
organic
never saw
line.
that.
Yeah, if you ever see Coconut Community or Cocoa Community, that's our organic line too. But
My wife swears by coconut oil. Like,
it's
it's
the
for
shit.
everything.
It's the shit.
It's literally
best,
for
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's nature's cure-all.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. You're not fucking kidding.
D-Rock, can you stop coughing near the mic,
I-
please?
can't
yeah,
help
really,
it.
you suck at this.
Dude, I went in the bathroom and they must have bleached and then inhaled and it's just my throat's burning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
You're
back to
sucking
back
dick
to the
in the back
important
room.
back to the important stuff. No,
So my wife would
No,
probably
I
use
would
coconut
if I
oil
did that, it
instead
would
of
have coated
bleach.
my throat.
coconut oil is
Like, no, seriously, she does everything. It's amazing. And I mock her because, it's my wife. But she's not wrong. That shit's amazing.
Yeah, the thing about coconut oil is it has a lot of really good, healthier fats for you. So the one thing that I'm actually going to start doing is like kind of coconut oil fasted cardio, like a tablespoon of that or two in the morning. I'm going to go get some work in that way. It's something I've seen from a few people talk about. It's good for
that'll put you-
cooking.
It's good for cooking. It's
Yeah,
good for skin.
cooking. You can put it on your hair. You
Yeah.
can put it on your face as a moisturizer. You can,
She takes,
Works great as lube.
yes, sure, why not? But
That's how you got pregnant from it.
she puts
See?
like some other stuff in it
Come
and
full
uses
circle.
it as a base.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking hurting all the time.
Yeah, a lot of people use it for like
a-
homeopathic.
You can,
Right.
you can
Yeah.
use it as a
medicines and
base
stuff
for like a
that. Yeah.
facial scrub or just for a lot of stuff because it's pretty well absorbed. But
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, so I'm the
It's in every fucking room of my house.
I'm the king coconut of Suffolk County. But yeah, that's what I do by day, and then by night I'm training. In the mornings I'm training too. Early morning. So
Getting
it's kind
punched
of
in the face.
yeah. Wake up, work out, work out, a little bit of PUBG or Fortnite, and then
Nice.
a little bit of sleep. Very little on the sleep side of things.
PUBG?
It's a
Player
sim-
Unknown Battleground. It's a video game. I'll just leave it at that for you.
I don't do the video game thing.
Yeah. But-
Arbs is
Yeah.
he's the video game connoisseur.
I saw the head nod when I mentioned him, so he knows what's up. But it's a fun and exciting life. It's not necessarily too fun and exciting, but it's something I love doing. I'm lucky enough that I work for a company that I like. I enjoy the company, the product, so I'm behind it. I get to do a sport that I love still. I'm as much as it is beating people up. I've met some of the best people in my life through wrestling and MMA. Some of my best friends or people that I train with.
Did you find a vulnerability in this website? Is that what you're
I
doing
was gonna
right
say,
now?
are you hacking this right now?
I'm not hacking it. I'm just saying
Exploring.
someone needs to go into your fucking div class image info block and fucking add a pixel because that L dropped and it's driving me fucking insane.
Oh my god!
See the R and the L?
The R and
Send
the
me a
L, yeah.
screenshot. I'll get somebody on it.
I can fix it. Let me just get that.
I can fix it.
Dude, Steve is a fucking guru.
He's
That's
a
why we
whiz.
got him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you saw something. He's over here pulling apart the code on the website. Like,
Sorry.
So yeah,
Don't mind me. Just talk amongst
this is
yourself.
pretty fucking entertaining.
Yo, I'm not
Just
doing.
say you did
I
it, you
am
might
not
get a
doing this
promotion.
right now.
sorry,
I'm telling you.
I just kicked the table
all
out
right,
from
that's all
everybody. But
Sorry, that was Steve's like. Couldn't
Yeah,
figure it out.
I didn't even know until you said something.
But this is
nice bitch.
It's a fun time. It was pretty cool. I've always heard D-Rock's name bouncing around while I was training, kind of diving into that. And then it was cool when I walked in one day, and he's like, hey, I'm Dave. I'm like, wait a second.
Who?
Dave Delrock. Oh, shoot. I've heard your name bounced around like 15 times. All right, cool. Let's punch each other.
Yeah.
That's the one cool thing about like this whole, this is the Long Island community of mixed martial arts. I want to say that so it's not confused with the gym. But, everybody does kind of know everybody. So when you finally get the chance, instead of it being kind of awkward, you're like, oh, I'm this. It's like, oh, hey, man. And maybe that boils down to all martial arts, but I think it's kind of just like the whole Long Island way, too. We always look at stuff as Long Island versus everybody, I feel like. Yeah. That's why you'll see a lot of the pros cross-training with all the other gyms with each other. It's kind of just the Long Island lifestyle. When people come out and don't understand who we are, we hate the taxes, we hate how expensive it is, but we still love Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one, and it's not a big island in general. No. Everybody knows everybody, and then, you
Which
scale that
there's
down.
Millions of fucking people here.
Yeah.
And yet you still run into somebody that some way all the time.
Yeah, that whole 6 degrees of separation on Long Island is probably narrowed down to about 3 or 4, yeah.
Well, it's even smaller in the MMA,
in the martial arts community, it's one.
It's one?
Yeah.
It's one.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, yeah,
one or two.
Like I said, I knew who you were. We'd never really met, but I knew who you were just from, like, fighting. Either we fought on the same shows or you fought on the same show as a friend that I was at. You always – and anybody who's really doing anything – or been training a while, like, for whatever reason, it just gets out,
Yeah.
So
you just kind of stick around, and then, exactly, someone will know someone on a card, or someone will know you something, like, you go and watch it, and you'll, maybe you weren't watching me, or, something like that, but you see somebody who's on there, and while you're waiting for your friend, or maybe, like, right after, you're like, oh, this guy's cool, and then, like, you see their name on the, the bout list, and then maybe the next time you go to an event, you're like, oh, shit, all right, this guy's fighting again, and you kind of pick it up. Or,
but
like,
not even that, just, being in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
You're always hearing people's names. I train with this guy or that guy, and, like, especially you stick around and do it long enough. And, it's funny because, I've been training for 12 years now. And, 12 years. Yeah, it's been a while. And it's funny, like, you always, everybody, you can understand this, everybody has a friend. If you say you meet a new group of people and it comes out that you're an MMA fighter, everyone has a friend that does it. Oh, I have a friend that does that stuff. And it's like,
he trains UFC.
Yeah, and it's always like
UFC. Yeah.
It's always the question of, like, do you really
got
though?
A black belt in MMA.
Do you know? And like, do you know my friend? This guy does a fight. And I'm like, yeah, I know this guy.
Well, a lot of times I don't know who they are, which then I'm automatically dubious. I'm like, this guy didn't really fucking train. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's and I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but I'm like, most people I know.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, it's not a very big community, and I've been doing it a while, and I've trained all over this island, so I'm like, I probably
about your putty that you're playing with. It seems
dude, this stuff is the shit. Here, go ahead, try it out.
It's seriously called thinking putty.
Yeah,
I swear to God, that's the actual. His
This
IQ's gone up a few points.
No, honestly, dude, it really is my like ADD thing. It keeps me on task. It's like, isn't it relaxing?
Yeah,
it's nice.
You go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
You're sitting here spinning your phone, so you know better.
I got a pop socket on my phone, so I can spin it and kind of flick and play with it.
This thing came with a little light.
That they, depending on which hand you're playing with something, it can activate
that hemisphere of your brain.
Yeah, well, it's actually the opposite hemisphere of your brain.
So left hand, right.
You're going creative now because you're on your left.
Yeah, they always say like left-handed people are the only people in their right minds. Yeah, because you're using the right side of your brain. I think it's just good for you in general. I was reading studies. I am a nerd. I was made fun of it for years growing up. Now
you're in good company.
Now people just stop making fun of it because they know I fight. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna punch you in the face, dude. Just because you can call me a nerd, I'm a fucking nerd. But anyways.
But I'm gonna make you feel stupid though. I'm not gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna make you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, well, the joke was I was always getting made fun of, for it, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, but at least I'll run the business that you're, working for me for. Or, like, I'll be the one making money. Yeah.
Make fun of me, so that way I can fire you.
So naturally, I want to go into a career fighting where you'll make, a grand total of hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Period.
Hundreds and hundreds.
But yeah, my whole train of thought just derailed right there.
It's all right.
It's like the LIRR, never dependable.
Left, right.
Yeah.
Oh, left, right brains, yeah. So, from some studies I was seeing, it's really good to try to do things that, you don't utilize, like brushing your teeth with, like, if I'm a righty with the left hand. Yeah. It'll keep your brain active and engaged. I hear, down the line it's going to be helpful. So
I actually read this study about Alzheimer's and Asian cultures that use chopsticks.
Yes.
And there's a significantly lower rate or occurrence of Alzheimer's, and they think it's because of the the activity of using chopsticks versus using just eating with a fork.
Oh yeah.
I've been using chopsticks like crazy lately.
I use
That's
chopsticks
real
all the time.
encouraging.
People make fun of me all the time. I'll eat fucking all kinds of shit with
I gotta
chopsticks.
get better with it. I'm extremely mediocre at it. So, but yeah, I think anything that you can do to engage your brain actively is good. Like things like reading more often. That's something that I'm challenge myself. Whether it's about fitness, sales, life,
playing music, something.
Playing music.
Yeah,
This
playing
podcast, believe it
interest.
or not, this podcast has helped my cognitive abilities a ton because, you have a long conversation and, you ever have a thought in your head in a conversation and if it goes too long, you lose it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that problem anymore because I've been trained doing it here. And I have a terrible memory, especially short-term memory. This has helped me so much in, things like that and just certain cognitive things on,
Being a better conversationalist.
paying attention, though, my ability, my attention span is improved, and I'm able to actually draw myself back. Because there's times, when if, there's 4 people here talking, you might be silent for a little bit, and you can start to drift. But I've learned how to pull myself back in, and it's actually made me better at work as well. Because if I start to drift off at work, this repetition
right
every
back
week of
to
this,
snap your brain.
it's helped a ton.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a firm believer. Just try to do something you can activate your brain. That's why, martial arts, I think, is amazing. You don't always have to want to be a world champion fighter for it to benefit you. I think I'm sure Rogan mentioned it a bunch of times, but it's just anything you can do to challenge yourself. People hate it because, a majority of people don't want to feel like they're a beginner at something again, or they, a lot of people in life, they'll take the path of least resistance.
What's
People
real
don't wanna
challenging?
fail.
Do something.
Yeah,
The fear of failure will kill people's more than failing itself actually ever will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't mind failing. I hate losing. I hate it, but it's gonna only make me better in life.
You want a good challenge? Take 6 Ambien and try to jerk off and finish before you pass out.
We were having a good conversation, and you
Damn.
fucking tried to derail it.
D-Rock with the derail.
But no, for real
Was
though.
it Jordan that said he's you miss 100% of
The
every
shot you don't
shot that
take.
you
That
never
was
take?
Wayne Gretzky.
I thought that was
Michael Scott from The Office.
I thought that was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I thought that was him.
Yes, that too.
But no, that's true.
You didn't actually do it. And I mean,
Yeah, he only took one of the shots. The other shot came from the other side.
no, but
Grassy,
It was,
no.
it was a magic bullet.
and it disappeared. Anything, yeah. The chopstick capture approach to fighting Alzheimer's. Yeah, no, I think Alzheimer's is a fucking hell of a disease that
It's-
a lot of people struggle. My grandmother, before she passed away, that was, the biggest thing that helped, that contributed to the diminishment of her life. And so I think we're seeing a lot of people have to deal with it. Well, whatever the base root causes are, I think whatever you can do to challenge yourself mentally and I think physically as well, because whenever you're pushing yourself hard, whether it's a hard workout or that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But learning a new martial arts, it is pushing you mentally as well. I think whatever you can do to do that's kind of going to help build your mind up down the line too.
Boom. Bringing it back full circle.
Full circle right here. A couple inspired a study on coconut oil in Alzheimer's. That's awesome. I'm sure if you read it, you'll see something probably to do with the healthy fats in there, helping protect brain cells.
Well, what if I had to guess? My guess on this is that those fats.
I'd say those fats have something.
Those fats are so you have a thing called your body creates a thing called myelin sheath.
Yep.
And what it does
It protects the neurons.
and it lubricates the neurons to be faster and fire more. And part of the degenerative things of Alzheimer's, you start to
triglycerides.
lose that.
The myelin
So the
sheath
fats,
and then,
the fats in the coconut oil probably help you produce
Absolutely.
more myelin. And myelinates those neurons and synapses quicker.
And there's also one theory there. It's talking about ketones. So I'm sure they're talking about inflammation inside the brain and stuff. So
Actually, that's funny you say that. They just said that the strokes and everything is due to inflammation, not so
Yes.
much the blockage.
Yes. Yeah.
So what
100%.
happens is there's a small blockage and it's jarred free in
Yes.
your vessels.
Yeah, by
and
the
then,
constriction.
and then that little piece then becomes inflamed trying to heal, and that's what causes the restriction, not the plaque itself. It's pretty interesting.
It's an interesting thought process on the whole scenario. I don't know, I got to delve into it. I like doing research. I'm somebody who, it's really weird. I'll start looking at a map. When I find a location, I start seeing alternate routes and picking up the high. I kind of understand the highway system, but do around that. And so then I'll find a little topic like this. I'm gonna wind up going home and
Are you on the spectrum a little bit? That's
I feel like everybody is nowadays.
Yeah.
Dude, so I took an online autism test. I'm on the spectrum.
yeah,
I feel like everybody.
I feel
it's-
like anyone
what?
that's intelligent and
It
this
could
conversation
be.
we're having right now, we all have Asperger's.
There could be
100%.
there could be a very very mild
I'm just crippled. I don't have Asperger's.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
you do.
Sure.
autism is something that affects a lot of people. I think the number is at 1 in every 144 or something like that. Where that's extremely common when you have did we pass 7 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.5,
Yeah.
I think, whatever.
Just
so
recently, yeah.
if you do the math, that's high.
I've
I
heard
also
an
think
argument
whatever it is-
for that autism is actually not a disease. It's the next wave in evolution. And so think about this. It takes a certain type of individual and person and brain type to dissect code, right? Like, and a lot of I read an article, like a lot of these like coder and software engineer types have
mild
spectrum.
degree of
They're in the
being on
spectrum, but it helps them laser into that.
Yeah.
And that is what is going to be a desired trait for employment in the future.
We'll see what happens as CRISPR and stuff goes in and delves into different gene editing tools.
But it could be the next wave of evolution. You're going to get super specialized individuals.
It could be, or AI could wipe us all out. We're
Well,
going to need super specialized people to fight against the AI.
I got
it's gonna be crazy. It's like Terminator.
Are you fixing this website right now?
But
I'm not doing anything to it.
no.
Did any of you guys?
I meant ours.
The
yeah,
radio
yeah,
lab about CRISPR.
I haven't.
I
It's
didn't
been on
finish
so
it.
many episodes of
It's
the
so
Joe Rogan
good.
podcast. I think CRISPR is interesting. Unfortunately, it has a saying goes, you're going to break a few eggs to make an omelet or bake a cake. I think the first few times someone really tries to do something, it's probably going to go pretty damn bad wrong.
Yeah.
And so if there's not a government intervention to stop it from happening further and they're able to fix it,
The
it could
Chinese they're already doing it.
it has a ton of potential to help people, but the other side of the thing is, at what point are we gonna? We have so many other issues. You could talk about overpopulation, you could do all those sort of things. How much are we contributing to that? And we're getting rid of natural selection. I know you guys have gone on and on again about this with Mike Kuhn and some of your other guests, so I'm not going to hamper in on it. But it's kind of this whole encompassing thing. With just about any issue in life, this is my philosophy.
Fuck it.
Take it or leave it.
Exactly.
But everybody always wants to look at it from a very singular, very specific perspective. Like, let's just fix this one part of it, and you don't look at there's a whole bunch of other. There's like a full circle that comes from anything. Like any example could be like this CRISPR thing. Like, we want to eradicate this one disease. That's awesome. If we eradicate that,
What are you making now?
what else are we going to
Place.
do? What else could happen? And how's that going to impact our total population, which is going to impact our total amount of CO2 emissions because we're creating more food, killing more animals, and all this sort of stuff, which is contributing to our end demise.
And there's so many levels of entropy to that. You'll never be able to predict all of it.
Exactly.
It's absolutely impossible.
And so it's not saying don't fix any issues, but it's definitely you got to start looking at things from a little more outside in versus like your singular dialed in
So
focus.
focused on it. It's
I ripped like 250 milligrams of caffeine before training right before I came here, so I'm still riding on it.
I read an interesting thing. A friend of mine, shout out to Terrence Hill, smart guy, badass kickboxer as well. But he put up a status before that I just read, and I thought it was interesting, and it plays into what you just mentioned. He said, so imagine you were a scientist and you discovered the cure for cancer and AIDS. But you found that if you release it, it's going to keep people living much longer, and we already have an overpopulation problem. And you find that if you cure these people now, it's going to lead to devastating effects on
the population as a whole.
on the population as a whole, because it's going to lead to starvation and famine and things like that. What do you do?
It's a tough.
You
thing.
start a fucking huge war. That's what you do.
No, everyone becomes a vegan,
No.
and then you'll be able to
No.
eat plants, and there'll be no issues. And
Harambe was a vegan.
We'll live with our animal
You-
brethren.
You
and
start a huge war. That's what you do. You start a huge war. And then you say, all right,
There's going to be conflicting
Let's take it
sides of
from here.
It sucks because
It's not even a huge
especially
war.
something with like cancer. I think you mentioned AIDS the second one, but just harping on cancer. Everybody knows someone who's suffered, had a scare, or died from, and so
it's terrible.
on that deeply, immensely personal level, which every single person dives into, you're going to be like, "Fuck, man! If I could have stopped cancer for my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, my mom, whatever it is, like you always want to do that because it's someone that's close to you. But then sometimes you think like." If it's someone else, other side of the world that you don't know about, as bad as it sounds, a lot of people are like, whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you think we can eradicate disease, you don't think about like, oh shit, now we're going to have an overpopulation because yet again, we're helping into my timeline. By the time the whole world's screwed, I'm probably going to be 6 feet under. I'm going to be decomposed.
yeah, but not for nothing. Let's go back to that entropy, right?
Yep.
Let's say you cure cancer and you save 1 billion lives. How many Hitlers were fucking killed when they were, had leukemia when they were fucking 4 or some shit? You know what I'm
there's
saying?
always you
There's
can argue
so
that on
many
both sides.
ridiculous things.
Yeah, but then if you're going to look at that, how many Einsteins, how many?
Well, that's
this
true
and
too.
that.
That's what I'm saying. It's a ridiculous
There's so many different
level of
opportunities
entropy.
and different things that could be created. I think good and good is going to happen. No matter how far we progress in life as a society, there's always going to be good and evil. You'll see it. You've seen it from way back in BC when we were tribes fighting each other over things up until today's day and age, we're constantly going to have good and evil, which is then again is also up to the perspective of the individuals involved.
A bunch of tribes fighting over shit again.
Yeah, tribalism is alive and well, and that's
tribalism is a built-in evolutionary mechanism, in people. What are you doing?
He's selfieing.
What are you laughing at?
He's in the middle of a deep conversation. He's like, time out. I got a selfie.
I have to get a photo.
But tribalism is a built-in evolutionary thing,
Yes,
prior to the Industrial Revolution, if you saw a ship show up, it wasn't tourists ready to boost your economy. It was potential people coming to fucking wipe you out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's murder those motherfuckers before they make land.
Tribalism helped keep you alive.
Yeah.
You had to be suspicious of the other.
It's something that's been built into us for thousands and thousands of years. This goes way back into probably a few thousand BC. Where there wasn't necessarily as much diplomacy, and so as we've evolved into a society where we typically don't have as many unknown people conquering us, we kind of had that innate tribalism that we attach to other things. So whether it's political ideas, socioeconomic ideas, athletic ideas, any single idea, it kind of turned into I want to be more like people like me, and it kind of ties into not only tribalism but a social rejection, especially in today's day and age where everybody's so connected. You have to feel connected to someone else.
Yep.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Society has evolved faster than biology can keep up with.
100%.
We haven't. Our bodies have not evolved fast enough to match in the society that we live in yet. Yeah. And until that happens, it's never
going to happen, especially with technology.
Until CRISPR allows you to edit your own biology, then that's technology in there. It's tough though because
if you do that, somebody's going to hack that.
Well,
shit.
if you think about it, when we're getting to that point, or as we're getting to this point, the technology is now 4 steps ahead. So we may be able to, manipulate ourselves and get closer to that, but the technology is never going to stop. It's going to keep going.
Well, so to that point, that's what concerns me as somebody who's into that shit, right?
It's already
everything.
Steve.
Well, everything goes so quickly, right? But here's the thing: it's progressing. It's speeding up exponentially, right? So the problem is you don't have
that Moore's law, right?
Yeah, it's Moore's law, right? Every year it doubles the amount of chips you can put on a processor double or whatever, right? So but that's besides the point. So it's exponentially increasing, and it's been Moore's law is pretty much good for another. Theoretically speaking, I think it's good for another 60 years or 40 years, something like that.
That's
anyway,
nuts.
yeah. So, but here's the problem: all this technology, right, is being built on a base that hasn't had enough time to be properly vetted, right?
Correct.
So look at, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. Look at perfect example. For anyone who knows what the fuck I'm talking about is Wi-Fi, right? They just found recently WPA encryption in Wi-Fi. You're familiar with this? It's like a general WPA2 encryption. That was don't use WEP. People can hack it in a minute, right? WPA is the way to go. Some dude just sitting down looking at the fucking code was like, wonder if I put this fucking period in twice and broke everything. Broke the planet. Broke all the Wi-Fi on Earth.
Yeah. By
adding an extra string.
Yeah.
Right? And it just sat there for 15 years. Nobody bothered to look. Right? So that's just it. So now you have, now we have AI, we have all this crazy shit, and we're building all these chipsets and da-da-da, and it's all fucking insanely, amazingly awesome, right? And holy shit, look, now we can have, computers programming for us, and we can fucking build that technology on top of this technology and on top of that technology. But then you go 4 levels down, and there's a fundamental fucking flaw.
Yep.
And it's all fucked because it all relates back to that piece, right? Look at Bitcoin and shit with the blockchain. One fuck up on that blockchain, the whole system is fucked.
Well, that's what happened with
inherently.
The split that they had originally with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash was because somebody had millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin basically stolen by hackers, and so the initial thought process between Cash was, all right, well, it was kind of the fork. Everybody that thought, fuck the people that lost it, kind of went that way, and everybody else that's no, we're going to give it back to them, kind of went the other way. It's a very
That's a crazy system.
Slow way to look at it.
I personally,
crypto is awesome.
I like crypto, but here's the thing with it. It has to change a little bit. I'm starting to get into more of the
altcoins.
Well, that's another story. But yes, Doge. No, man. But I did real good with Dogecoin. Let's not talk shit about Dogecoin. To the fucking moon. Anyway, I'm looking to get into more of the anonymous shit because I really don't like the concept of buying, let's say, a gallon of milk at the store with crypto, and then having somebody look at my ledger and know what's in my bank account, every transaction I've ever had. Yeah. That's kind of fucked up.
There's
So,
a lot
like-
of them that are coming out now that have a lot more other stuff. Like
Yeah, and some are
I'm
good
a
and
huge
some are
fan
not
of
so
XRP, Ripple.
Monero.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have a lot of potential.
Ripple,
I think
that's
it's going to
another
be there's a lot of stuff that's going to wind up being, it's just another thing. It's kind of like survival of the fittest with that too. You're going to see like as they're in that huge kind of pullback now where everybody, crypto market's gone for good now. No, it's not.
You hear that every
But
fucking 2 years.
You hear that with everything though. Like look at the stock market in 08, it was the worst recession we have. Fast forward 10 years. Yeah, I don't think crypto is going to take 10, but then it's like right back up and it's booming. But kind of diving back into the whole biology thing. We're never going to kind of catch up, as you mentioned. Like, we're going to edit something, but we don't see the long-term ramifications of it because,
that's what I'm saying,
now there's people showing studies that, like, Wi-Fi next to your brain isn't, like, really good or, like, all these other things. We don't have a method of, like, seeing progression, It's not like if you kind of nerding out here, Dragon Ball Z, they had the hyperbaric time chamber where if you had, like, a whole day's, you had, like, a month's worth of training and that happened within a 24-hour time period.
Yep.
It'd be, we don't kind of have any tank where we can look and see what are these long-term effects on humans also because we do testing
can't put
on rats
something in
to
and
start.
extrapolate exactly what it's going to become.
Well, that's human nature, though. You know what I mean? Like think about when they were trying to split the atom. They didn't know if that shit was going to fucking destroy the earth.
like,
when they
no,
first
we're going
did
to
it.
fucking do it, though.
They're looking and look at CERN. Look what they're doing. CERN. They don't know what who knows what the ramifications
so
are. Are we
fucking
going to create
cool,
a fucking super huge massive black hole and swallow the earth?
Yeah.
They don't fucking know.
That'd
But
be
you
crazy.
roll the dice and
And
you
you just see
figure
what
it out.
happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
I
that's
think that's
what
worth it,
that's
though.
what. But that's humanity. That's
They
what
just
we're
look
doing.
at the threat
You gotta
assessment
roll the
model and they
dice.
say, well,
You just got to go for it, and but
chances
ultimately, there are good things that come out of this, though, right? Because
Absolutely.
like
It's going to be genetically enhanced super soldiers that can fight the AI. That's what I'm looking for. Right
I called it, man.
That's what I want.
It's going to be, you're going to be fighting against Ultrons, but
exactly.
yeah, exactly.
but I think
We're all
the
going to look
biggest
like
thing is
Hulk
we've
and
seen so
fucking
much.
fight Ultron.
We've seen
Actually, that
so
sounds
much
pretty good.
evolution happen in a short period of time, and to maybe with our technology, but humans as a whole, it took us millions of years to only 3,000 in the Bible. I mean, it took us millions of years to kind of get to where we are now with
tens
all
of
these
thousands
things
or whatever it
to
is.
the point where we, are now able to make changes so rapidly. And so, as you mentioned, biology hasn't really evolved to a point where we can see all this. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It'll be a great case study long after I'm gone, but seeing how like this specific time frame impacted everything else because we had, what we think of as a lot of changes over millions of years. I would argue that within the past 50 to 100 years, we've seen the most changes that we have.
in our lifetime.
Yes.
In our lifetime alone, there has been more changes and advancement than any other generation.
That'll
Especially
continue.
yours since you're getting up there, but
How dare you?
That'll
Pretty fucked
continue.
up.
That'll continue.
This is we didn't watch it. We were just talking about this Netflix original movie that just came out called The Titan.
okay.
And it's like forced evolution because basically the Earth is fucked, and they decide
Is
that
it flat though?
yes, 100%. Of course it's flat. Duh. But they have members all around the globe.
yeah, they have members.
I love
of
that.
It's like read that again,
Yeah,
but
wait,
slowly.
slow it down. But the whole premise of the movie is that the Earth is fucked. They decide that Titan, the biggest moon
On Saturn?
outside of Saturn, is our best opportunity for recolonization. But they are looking at humans won't be able to really survive, so they kind of force evolution on these soldiers to be able to go there, and it looks fucking super
And they
interesting.
all took the fucking Tesla that's orbiting.
Yes. That guy's my
David
Elon Musk is
Bowie
my
and
fucking
Tesla.
guy.
That's fucking
I thought you were
amazing.
gonna say they all took tests. I was like, hey, good for
Yeah,
them.
good, yeah.
No, that's pretty fucking interesting, though.
Yeah, it seems
Instead
really
of modifying a planet, it's easier to modify an individual.
Yeah.
That makes
Sure.
perfect sense,
It's true.
I think.
We'll be terraforming planets before you fucking know it. Like
I'm psyched.
yeah.
I say Venus first. It looks cool.
A little close to the.
or
that
was
trying to
it
think of the sun.
Neptune that
just-
it rains diamonds there?
Yeah.
That sounds like
You also
it's one of
can't
their
sounds like
moons,
it
I
would
think,
hurt.
right? Isn't it
Yeah,
one of their
something like
moons?
that.
Yeah.
Moons, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But we have a whole lot of crazy shit that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
fucking
kind of
awesome.
cool when you sit and think, like, what if, if you would have asked 100 years ago, they would have had no idea what the hell.
No way.
Oh, like, obviously the whole flying car was probably the first thing, but you never we would have thought that, I have a device in my hand that's connected to every piece
Everything.
of information
30
that's
years
ever
ago,
been out.
I mean,
And you're just
40
taking
years ago, they
selfies
didn't
on
think
it.
of that.
You can take,
That's all you're doing
oh,
with it.
well, you have access to every piece of information in the world, but instead we look at
40
memes.
years ago, that was unheard of.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
You look at-
25 years ago was a stretch. I mean, they had like that satellite phone in your car or something, but that was like crazy. Then.
Tesla called it.
Yeah, if you go back and look at shows and movies that
Portray
show
the future.
portray the future, even things like Back to the Future or the Jetsons or all these
Had
different
fax
things.
machines in
Yeah,
2049.
like they were all wrong. What they missed was the internet. Like, that's what
that's a big thing.
That's what they missed, and that's what drives everything
that we're involved
in.
Well, podcasting, every industry has been exponentially benefited by.
Not every.
All right, just about.
Radio.
Look at the music industry. It's destroyed because of it.
Well,
and I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, it's not necessarily
It's
destroyed.
not destroyed. It's different.
The record companies are destroyed.
A record company is, but like.
Yeah,
but if you
actually,
look at
the record companies
market,
aren't that fucked because
they're passing the cost on to the
not even
No,
that. They bought into every streaming, so it always finds a way. They always.
I mean, the market's going to find its way there. Maybe the traditional way of doing something has changed, but it's not like no one's listening to music. Well, now, what took me forever,
I listen to more music now because I have Google Play.
I have Apple Music on my phone now. Like, when I was in like 4th, 5th grade, if I had a CD player, like. I had to hold it perfectly on the bus so it didn't skip or something.
30-second skip protection.
I made,
right.
that buffer was huge.
The
joy of making my own CD and hearing it work or something. The mediums have changed, but necessarily the industry itself hasn't crashed.
So I play in a band. Not recently. My guitarist went to Vietnam for a while, but that's besides the point. So, what do you call it? You don't make the money like you used to back in the day. However, just the fact that I can fuck around on the internet long enough and publish my music literally everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a matter of finding enough people who give a fuck to look for it. But, like, it's there. Like, that's amazing. Like, if you told me in high school, like, oh, yo, you're on Pandora, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, or describe what Pandora was.
Well, no, you know what I'm saying? When Pandora first came out, you're like, oh, dude, I wish my fucking band was on that shit.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, now my band is on that shit. It only makes a nickel a fucking month, but it's on that shit.
But
like,
you could always make, or the fact that you could gain national exposure by something like YouTube.
That's just
maybe you're not making money in there, but the fact that you could be that one-hit wonder, or not one-hit
Look
wonder
at Bieber.
sometimes. But
Look at Bieber. Bieber off the
or
back
now
of YouTube.
with everything that's popping up, like that Yodel kid that's going on online. There's a lot of things that, like, a little exposure could go a long way. Sure. And, the only way, I'm probably a little bit off here and feel free to correct me, but back in the day was, like, you really had to get put on by someone or, like, really be different to crack through. Now, any asshole with a YouTube channel like Jake Paul could get famous. Oh,
no, it's true. And when YouTube first came out, they were bringing people in that were popular on YouTube with having no fucking idea what YouTube was. Yeah. They were just like, oh, shit, yeah, this guy's bringing in. So they were looking at it like a club, right? Yep. Like, oh, this dude brought in 10,000 listeners. It was just fucking... somebody shared it on a fucking blog for a day. And they had no idea. And they're like, okay, do that YouTube thing again. Like, no one really knew what the fuck.
Do it again. Keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's definitely interesting to see how kind of everything's changed. And it's within all of our lifetimes, which is the coolest part. Like, we're not, I still remember, I met one of my best friends, the kid that actually got me involved in wrestling, which kind of helped kickstart everything. I had class with him, but we only really became friends because he rode his bike down to my house and knocked on my front door and said, hey, you want to go ride bikes? And I was like... fuck it, dude, I'll do it.
That time's over.
Now kids are like, they're locked in. If I'm not texting you, everybody knows how to talk face to Facebook, but no one can talk face to face. It's crazy that people skills have actually become a skill. The ability to talk to somebody, even, as I was like growing up, like a lot of people were able to talk to people just casually. Now it's with social anxiety growing because you're just, like the actual ability to confront somebody and, oh no, like the whole what if, people freak out over what if, what if this goes wrong or what if, that kills a lot of people, but...
Then you deal with it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, a lot of us can kind of understand that, but you're seeing a lot of people now who can't.
We grew up.
Can't adapt,
We're the last fucking bastion.
I'm on that cusp where, there's still plenty of people I know that can't talk to somebody and that freak out, but there's still enough of us that, embrace that whole fuck it. Drawing back into that. But, you kind of look at it like a vast majority of the scenarios that I'm going to go into my life, it's not going to end if it doesn't go my way. Granted, fighting is the one avenue where, I could get kicked in the head and not wake up. But, like, a vast majority of things, whether it's, launching a business, going to talk to somebody again, how many memes or jokes are there about, like, sliding into someone's DM? It's funny, but like, let's say, like, approaching a girl at the bar, approaching a business, to get a job, approaching a bank with your business plan to launch it, or something like that.
Anything.
A vast majority of the scenarios in your life, if you don't have the outcome you want, you're still going to be able to walk away with it. Sometimes, maybe you lose a little money, maybe you take a quick hit to your pride or something like that, but I'm going to walk away from it. So why am I not going to go after doing something with my life because of the chance that it could fail? If I fail, at least I have that closure myself. At least I know. But
you learn from it.
Yeah, but that's something that we're kind of losing in today's day and age. And so, I think kind of tying into it, and then laugh about half this shit when you fail. My last fight that I lost, a close kickboxing fight. 4 days or a week and a half later, I posted the video of me getting kneed square in the nuts, and I'm like laughing about it. Caption was first day back to training had me feeling like, and yeah.
Let's get some memes off of that shit.
Dude,
right?
I meme everything.
Failure memes.
I got a meme app that I downloaded, and so I started making a whole bunch of memes. I have like funny pictures of my training partners.
So it's very important that we understand where you post them and how often. Go.
I should probably
Andrew Stock.
I should probably
on
start
Instagram.
posting some on my Instagram. I have some funny
You need
captions
to.
to some of my photos on my Instagram.
You need to.
You'll see all, like probably one of my personal favorites is if you scroll down a little bit.
I'm scrolling.
You'll have to keep scrolling. I have a bunch of captions, some random shit here and there.
Let me drop this a little bit.
Yeah. There's the one I put on
Harambe.
Yeah, that was one I made on Valentine's Day. It's, guys only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting.
It's Harambe.
And it's Harambe with hearts around him.
This is fantastic.
I have a bunch of other fun captions on there. There's one of me on top of the cage, and it's like, I can do all things through Harambe, who strengthens me. Book of Zookeepers, chapter 5, verse 28.
Harambe was an inside job.
Yeah, that's me and my best friend Andrew Grote, who I met through training. My other disciple of Harambe, as I like to say.
There's the sweater.
Yes, there it is.
The Harambe loved Christmas.
Harambe loved Christmas, man. I got a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to start posting a few more memes once I make them. I got to send D-Rock a couple of them.
We found Waldo.
Yeah, I like to live the dream a little. I'm
Twice.
A little
Found twice.
when I'm not getting punched in the face or working out. Oh, that's my favorite one right there. If you look at the right there, it's me on top of the cage, my hands up, and then there's Harambe embedded in the background. Second, the right-hand side, yeah. So it's like when she answers the "you up" text. But yeah, no, I'll probably gonna start posting a few more here and there. If you go down bottom left-hand one, you'll see the other caption I have there. These are all available on my Instagram at Andrew Stock. Shameless plug.
Andrew Stock.
But yeah, I'll probably start posting.
I can do all things through Harambe, who strengthens me. Zookeepers 528. This is fantastic.
That's a nice play on the Philippians.
I'm
14,
very excited about all of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god, this is great.
Dropping
the most fire mixtape of 2017.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
A part of
God.
that effort philosophy, I just want to have some fun too with whatever I'm doing. Too many people are way too stuck up in addition to being afraid of failing. So I'm gonna laugh at it. If someone else isn't gonna laugh at it, at least I got the laugh. Some people may enjoy it. Oh yeah, a picture of me and my dog is like my hands look like this and they're wrapped, and it's like so hers can look like that, and it's my dog's paws. Just embrace it. Whether I'm funny or you think I'm out of my goddamn mind, I'm probably still going to be myself. That was one thing that took me a long time, actually. Kind of struggled with self-esteem. I think we all kind of did, especially in that change with like dealing with technology, and I was really fucking weird, which I still am, but I've learned to embrace it. Somewhere between like after 10th grade or 11th grade and going into college, I just learned that I'm going to be who I am, and if someone wants to accept me for it, cool. If they don't want to accept me for it, fuck them.
It's a good philosophy.
Too many people in life are concerned about like other people, and it cripples them. And I struggled with that for so long, feeling crippled.
Click that one to the left.
I feel crippled all the time.
Is that old Andrew Stock? Is that a young Andrew Stock?
Yeah. So that photo right there, that was my first year. That was 2010.
This year?
At 141 pounds, my first ever jiu-jitsu tournament with the Spataro twins. Yeah, my first ever tournament I entered was the Renzo Gracie no-gi. It was at the New York MMA Expo.
Okay.
I wound up winning with 2 or 3 rear naked chokes finishes, and as you can see, all of us there are about 20 to 30 pounds lighter than we are now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me probably closer to the 40 mark, but that's a story for another time. Diet starts again soon, back in shape. But yeah, that's that one up there in the middle was my head coach Lonnie Morris right after he got his 300th career win as a coach. Scrolling down one more from there.
Bad.
See, the computer guy's awful.
It's crazy. It's kind of cool. I mentioned like small moments impacting your life like exponentially and like craziness. Him making that one phone call to me, asking to come up and check out the school, kind of set the platform for everything else that happened in my life. Because had I never gone there, I was gonna drop out of school after my freshman year. A couple people like helped me stay in college. I wound up staying, getting my master's. Wrestling still, and like it's kind of set me up for where I am now. Because I wrestled and met some of the coaches, they helped me write my letters to get into grad school, which helped me, get a job working for the university that helped me cover grad school. So I still have semi-debt, but it's not completely crippling. And then, which kind of helped streamline me into a job that I have now and like all these other things. And so it's crazy how small moments from people you may not think mean a lot, they'll have an impact. And that dude right there, Lonnie Morris, I'm eternally grateful for him. As much as I used to butt heads with him when I was cutting weight all the time, but that's life when you're a wrestler.
That's awesome.
I was gonna say, I feel you're probably in cranky mode anyway when you're cutting weight, and
I've gotten better at it, but it was harder. It was significantly harder, I think, when you're wrestling because you're weighing in weekly or sometimes multiple times a week. And as much as every wrestler is probably going to say this, we never necessarily do it the right way. At least with fighting, you're dieting for months, and it's hard because you'd have to be consistent for months and then do it. And the thing with fighting is you get 24 hours typically. Certain states like New York, when you're professional, it's about 36 now because they're trying to help with it. In wrestling, you have a grand total of 1 hour. At most, it'll be 2. So typically it's an hour to an hour and a half. If the first match. So maybe depending on where a dual meet may start, they typically start at the first weight class of 125, unless you go to a draw and you pull it out. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you're like the last guy, you're a heavyweight. You're typically not cutting weight to begin with, but one of those guys,
lucky fucks,
you'll get like a little, that hour and a half or like a little bit more stretched. But you still got to warm up in that time frame. So the thing about wrestlers, I think that dealing with all that crazy shit that you had to do that translates into MMA, kind of dialing back into the whole fighting thing. I think that's embracing the grind and that whole thing.
How dare you, Mike Goldberg?
But that's been all about wrestling for a long time, and so I think people don't understand it when they're not seeing it. They just think like, oh, fighters do this. Wrestling's got to be a pretty cool base. They don't see some of the hell that you go through. I think that's what kind of helps wrestlers dive into all this and be successful as people in life. Random tangent.
That's nice. No, that's excellent.
Oh, Steve.
But
Steve is the worst.
No.
Tech guy going through some of
he can't click on any
Instagram
pictures
stalking
properly.
As long as I get the follow back from the podcast, so
it's almost done.
We should have been following you already, I thought. Maybe not. I don't know.
No.
I don't manage the Instagram, so
yeah.
I get bitched at sometimes about that. I'm like, dude, I don't manage the Instagram, so. But
it's awesome.
So. We covered some of the things I wanted to ask.
There's a lot going on.
It actually kind of just stumped me for a second.
That was amazing.
It almost stumped me for a second, but
That was a good run.
yeah, it was
real.
pretty good. So
Don't worry, I can go deeper.
We must go deeper.
So what's the ultimate end goal here? I mean, obviously, you're going to take it as far as you can, but did you come into this with like something already in mind?
Yeah, well, once I saw that fight, I said I wanted to be a fighter. When I went to the first gym, I mentioned that to the Spataro brothers. They probably heard it a number of times from people. Everybody, when you go into the gym, you'll hear someone say, I want to be a fighter. And they're like, all right.
I was that guy.
We'll see. Everybody's like, oh, we'll see what happens. And, a lot of those people quit once they realize, like, you're not going to be able to do it right away. You're not going to instantly be an all-star. But, that's kind of been my goal. Like, before I knew I wanted to wrestle in college, before I did any of that, I knew I wanted to get into fighting. My game plan now is still the same. I probably have 1 to 2 more fights as an amateur. It's up to kind of all the coaches like Greg, Ryan, my managers, the Spataro brothers, and kind of seeing what's going to happen within this next fight, see how much I improve before we go. But the game plan is, pro before the end of this year. I want to rock it till the wheels fall off. But I think, with the team that I have, the ability that I have that I'm willing to kind of put towards it and kind of everything else, that I can really make it far in the sport. So, my goal is try to obviously rock it till the wheels fall off. You can always see yourself as a champion. You have to. You always have to think you can win, in every fight and see yourself getting to the top. Like, you can know you're not there yet, but you have to see yourself at least getting to the top of the mountain. So I see that. My game plans do that. And then one day if it's open like an affiliate to Lima, I'd like to be involved in running something of my own one day. That's been a goal since I was a kid. I always knew I kind of wanted to have my own business. And I think this, if it's an affiliate here or, if I ever happen to move or do something, I want to run my own business. So I think a gym kind of ties into it because I kind of know a thing or two about martial arts and I kind of know a thing or two about fitness.
What are those things?
That's a good question. I think I know how to do UFCs.
Well,
I'm well versed in UFC.
if you're taking any of my classes, you set yourself back.
Yeah. Well. But I think it's, the cool thing about this sport is a lot of people have been able to grow and do something of their own, whether or not you win the belt. You'll see a lot of guys that are able to establish their own gyms and help teach either the future generation or do something. So, as I kind of mentioned when I first started.
So you want to teach kids that are edited with CRISPR. I get it.
I want to give back. So, in today's day and age, one of the many other things that we talk about, like, health is the new wealth to me. Like, you're going to see a ton of people, and, disability aside, anything with people, like, there's a lot of people who don't want to take control of their own life when it comes to their health, and whether it comes to, exercising a little bit, trying to clean up your diet. Like, granted, yeah, I'll eat like shit sometimes, and, I'll do it. I'm not saying, like, you have to be perfect, but if you're not willing to look at your own health and kind of take control of it, you know, you're going to see a ton of people lose their lives because of it. You know, heart attacks and like heart-related things, which, you know, cancer gets impacted by that too, is all lifestyle, I guess you could say, is like the number 1, 2, 3. You know, it's like a massive killer. So
I think the biggest
health is
issue
wealth,
with
and I want to
stuff
spread
like that is people want instant gratification with stuff like that.
100%.
We need instant gratification.
I need this now.
Yeah.
Learning patience is
couldn't
Like
wait.
I ate a piece of broccoli. I don't have a six-pack yet?
I had a salad. Where's my, you know, how come my stomach's not gone?
Yeah. I don't even want to know.
Have to change that font. Instant gratification is necessary.
Yeah, and, you know, we all want it. And the issue was I hate saying back in the day because I wasn't necessarily there, but from my outsider perspective looking in, the ability to get instant gratification was significantly harder.
Yeah.
And so now when it's like simple things like your brain craves like information, it sets off, you know, the blue light sends off signals which helps keeps you awake, but it also sends off a little bit of a dopamine dump. Like anytime you see a little piece of information, like let's say a tweet or something where you pick it up, it's like helps keep you awake. That's addictive. So you'll sit there on your phone and you're like, fuck man, yeah, I'm going to sleep, babe, talk to you later. 2 hours later you're scrolling through tweets, you're finding memes or other things. Sorry, that's got real deep.
No, it's true though, because you're just continuously feeding into your freaking consciousness, and you're not letting yourself sleep. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, but, you know, I forgot where I was going with that right beforehand. But, instant gratification, sorry. I guess I got to keep working my mind out a little bit more. But the instant gratification side of things, we have that, so I can get that brain signal right away versus, you know, where you had to go read a book or you had to go do something before it was a little longer. You were like, oh, man, I'm hungry. You know, instead of having to go make some food or anything, it's like, yo,
let's go to McDonald's.
McDonald's 24 hours. Bro, fuck it, let's go.
Whoops.
Damn it, D-Rock. Knock some shit over.
Twitter's going to get pissed.
But, yeah, so I think instant gratification is crazy, but learning to control that is awesome, which we all suck at.
And, I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing.
100%. You know, certain times you need that. Like, you need...
Yeah. And
there's whole technologies based around that.
Right.
I mean, look at email, for Christ's sake.
100%.
I mean, think about that. We had to lick a fucking stamp and wait. Now that shit's like, why the fuck is this not here now?
I saw you. I see that you read this, motherfucker. Where's my answer?
Exactly.
Read receipts, ruining everything.
Exactly. For real.
But yeah,
I actually judge people. If I see a read receipt, I'm like, you fucking.
I hate that too. But
yeah,
you know, you got to add the 1 pixel. Never mind. Anyway,
Read receipts are probably ruining many a relationship.
but it's good.
right up there
it's
with,
good
with blind carbon copies.
That's dick.
Oh,
That's a
Fuck
dick
you're
move.
such a piece of
Piece of
shit.
You know, sometimes though, when somebody gets it and accidentally hits reply all, that's the greatest moment in life.
Like,
where you're just like,
you weren't on this motherfucker.
you done fucked up now.
You done fucked up, AA Ron.
Exactly. Like, I got
Beat me
this
to it.
shit. Oh my god, it's the first time I've ever won a race. But anyway, there's something to be taught. Like my kids, right? Like we're big outdoors and
You didn't teach him how to walk, right?
No, I did not. The fucking kid walks better than me now, you bastard.
That's not saying much.
No, it's really not.
Jesus.
But so you know, my kids, like, they're into the tablets and everything. Like you said, instant gratification. Everything's like boom, 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 go, go, go. Especially having me as a dad. They're like, hey, Dad, I want to watch this fucking movie now. Like, why is it not? Why is not everything
Why is
on
it not
Earth
loading?
right
Why am I
here?
getting the circle?
Yeah.
Fucking now.
My son does that all the time.
And they're very.
I'm like, Chase, you gotta stop hitting the button. He'd be like, but it's not coming up. I'm like, give it a half a second.
And
you
the,
just hit it.
the worst part is my son will be like, oh, my phone doesn't do the X, right? And I'm like, well, that phone doesn't do it. He's like, well, hack it, Dad. Make it do that. It's like, well,
Make it
Jesus
work.
Christ.
Yeah.
Like now, Dad, just do the hack thing. I'll pick it up tomorrow around lunch. You're like, what the fuck? You're 7. Shut the fuck up. No, it just doesn't work like that. But on the other end of the spectrum, they appreciate that shit takes time. Like, the other thing that, particularly, going back to my son, one of the greatest things he likes to do is just go fishing. Shut the fuck up, throw the line in the water, and fish for fucking hours. And it's so funny to see the difference of tablets and phones and fucking TVs going on. There's 5,000 different things going on, and then he'll just shut it all off and just fucking stare at a bobber for 4 hours.
It's awesome.
And it's so nice to see that it's still available.
There's still remnants of it there. I'd love to say that my son has the same, but I don't have any kids that I know of. So,
Well, I mean, Vita Coco is into coconut oil now, so apparently D-Rock said it gets people pregnant.
Just a guess.
That's false.
Just throwing it out there.
Alternative facts.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Oh, just a guess.
We're at about an hour and a half now, so
Sweet.
probably wrap it up. You got anything you want to plug?
Oh, yeah. Well, first and foremost, thanks to all my sponsors that kind of helped get me through everything. You know, Vita Coco, in addition to being my employer, they helped sponsor me. The Float Place, Fire Cream. I know you guys had Q on a while ago.
Yeah.
You know, Fire Cream is helping keep me in the business. CNS Design Apparel, they make my fight shirts. They make a lot of other good things. So if you're looking for anything of that nature, business cards, and you should check them out. Thank you guys for having me on, and, you know, thanks to all my team, Spataro Brothers, Ryan the Flair, Chris Wade, Greg Depot, Andy Park, John Sonashine, all the other people out there.
Harambe.
Harambe.
My Lord and Savior guiding me through everything, thick and thin. Never let me down.
Instagram at Andrew Stock.
Yep. One other sponsor. Thank you to Finest Hour Athletics, my boy Sean from college, hooking me up with some sick training gear. But yeah, you know, thanks for having me on here. Check me out at Andrew Stock, like we said. And looking forward to fighting in Triton Fights July 13th.
Keep an eye out. We'll be there, as always.
Yeah, like always.
So get that W, and I'll stick another mic in your face.
Absolutely. Get the W, look at getting some contracts, and then keep going from there.
Right on, man. Oh,
Awesome.
thank you for coming. And you know, when July gets closer, we'll have you on to promote the fight.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to coming back on here, having some fun with you guys, and going off the rails a little bit more, too.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe we'll have to do one after the fight where we get drunk.
yeah.
Just
Down.
What do you drink?
Alcohol.
Coconut water, dickhead.
Coconut, of course. What am I thinking?
You just handed me one of these the hard seltzer. I'm a fan of now. I like hard cider.
Okay.
Fuck it. If you give me something to drink, I'll drink. I only live like 5 minutes from here, so I can.
Perfect. We'll do like a Saturday night podcast. And
Oh, this will be great.
Fuck
Yeah, we could do a pre-fight promotion and then after-fight celebration.